pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to a meeting of the Stamford Selectboard. You have a matter to discuss that is not included on the agenda. You may do so by addressing the chairperson and stating your name and address. You will notice that all our meetings are recorded, and this is to aid in the summarization of the minutes. Visitors are welcome and allow 5 minutes of comments per visitor and 15 minutes per topic. Discussions will be held in a calm and civilized manner and respectful of others. Select board members present are Nancy Rashika,
George Roy.
John Dunn. Bert Lamar.
Will there be any adding of items that can't wait until next meeting or removing items from tonight's agenda?
I just have some updates for you.
Okay. Will there be any adjustments to the agenda such as changing the order of items?
I think that the recorder will pick up when the air conditioner
Oh, we probably should turn it off.
I want to, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear anything.
I'm going to turn it down.
Now we'll just,
Turn the recording off instead.
that's up to you what you want to do.
Yeah. Hurry up, I guess.
Also, I want to make it known that Jed is recording this meeting for his YouTube site. All right, hearing the visitors. Rich Christopolini.
Yes, Richard Crispellini, 100 Louise Road. I'm here because I'm concerned there's a traffic hazard on top of the lane. You have to get your car all the way out halfway, we cannot see either way. Dave cut the brush down, did a very good job. I feel it needs to be cut back more. And there's a dead tree on the right that's 10 feet tall. And I've talked about it before, and Lori told me that you have to ask permission from the people that bought Lovett's house, because they own it. It's got vines growing up it. The way the young kids drive on that road, if you get out there far enough, somebody's gonna get hurt. And on the left-hand side, there's two partially dead trees. These trees are this big around. Vines growing up, you cannot see. Last week, I got out where I could see, and I was just about ready to put on my gas, and a guy on a 10-speed bike just about green. Something needs to be done on top of that lane so you can see both ways.
Dave, can you look into that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I would love to have them come down. I get irritated pulling out of there myself. We just really don't have a good policy on trees, so. You know, usually if trees are bad and people want them taken down, it's kind of on them, but this is more of a safety issue with the road.
There's nothing,
I don't know
right away or.
They're in the right of way. We certainly can take them down.
So I was just there to find these.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
I agree 100%.
I mean, I'd love to have them taken down. Obviously, I can't do it myself.
Right. Now, what about even the bushes in the back seem to be
Yeah, the ones on the left need to be cut back quite a bit, but there's an angle where you can't see between the two trees on the left. That's why I did not see the guy on the bike. He was going a good clip. And the one on the right, the owner of that house has flowers all around the corner, and they're this high, and then he's got his fence. You just can't see. A car comes up on top of you.
Like a whole row of knotweed there too or something?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Is there a certain distance that the town is liable for out the center of the road?
It's not like,
Well, our right of way on East Road is actually wider than any other road.
but it's not liable, right?
It's our right of way.
Right away.
It's we can do it, but we don't have to do it, right?
Trees are a funny thing. I mean, in this circumstance, it's not that we're taking them down for no reason, but they're big old maples. They're public shade trees in fact. Somebody might have an issue with it, is what I'm saying. If you want, I'd be more than happy if somebody comes take them down. You know, it's just.
We can contact the landowner and ask them if they wanna
Remove them?
remove them or see if they're building. It's a hazard.
Yeah.
just want to be aware of it, alright?
Yeah.
You know, one of them, where's the other two dead ones in front of the, old?
Right on the
We
corner.
need a line of sight at the whole
In town.
top of
And
the
the one on the
lane.
right has been dead
Wherever
for
that
You know the
years.
one on the right, so the
There's-
one on the left is that.
There's
on-
only
Two on the left, they all have vines growing up, they're growing
That's
up
just
so much
what
you
you want
can't
to
see
lane.
them clean them.
Is that the old Bishop place?
Yeah,
At least along the road.
on the corner. Alright, thank you.
Okay.
Making sure Maples.
So,
Thank
you want me
you.
to contact
Thanks, sir.
landowners, or they contact them, or
Well, it
what?
might be the best, just way to go about it.
Well, now that we say we don't have a good policy on trees, maybe we ought to look at a policy on trees that maybe some other towns have and look into it and see what we can do. If we have to hire someone to come in and cut those trees down, and there's people out there that can do it.
What are the responsibilities
And
of
then
like
there's
the
a lot of
tree warden?
trees.
I mean, usually if they're posing an immediate threat, we have the right to deal with the tree.
Yeah,
I mean, these trees have been that way for probably as long as I've been.
Right.
One is just a 10-foot stump with,
Yeah, I
Once
mean,
we-
the
solid lines all over.
dead stump shouldn't be, you wouldn't think would be an issue, but also can be a snag tree. I mean, there's so many, I've run into so many issues
Oh, yeah.
with cutting trees and
once we
what
start
time of year it
cutting,
is, we're already, I think we're beyond that, where it could be a snag tree and it's for bats and, so.
once we
It's not
start
as simple
cutting
as just
trees,
kind
some
of
dead
take-
trees, do you have one need to be cut, and maybe you have one that needs to be cut, where do we?
I mean, this is really,
Well, I was kind of wondering, what's the distance off the road that the town is responsible for?
Are they into the power line?
There's gotta be like a cut, we can't be cutting people's trees down that are.
No,
Well, it's their
no,
tree,
right.
it's their tree anyway.
5 feet.
They're telling us.
I mean, if they're focusing the line, you'd probably be 3 miles an hour.
Right.
Yeah, that's like 10, 15
We can cut these
feet
trees
off
down,
the
they're
road.
well within the right way. If we said we had a policy to cut these trees down because it's a hazard, we can cut them down, I don't see a problem with
There's just
Should we treat this like we've
hundreds of
done
dead
with,
trees in the right of way,
right.
so it's kind of.
that. Right, like Nancy said, we don't wanna cut 2 trees down and have everybody in town say, oh, I'll cut mine down.
Right.
I got a whole bunch of pine trees, I'd love to have cut mine down.
should we send them a letter though, I'm thinking that we treat it like,
They're owning it.
right, but also when we had the problem with the animals running out in the road up the north end, that could cause an accident,
Yeah.
that we sent them a letter that this could be a hazard for people going by. You can't see down the road.
See if you wanna look at
Yeah, maybe they would be
it, take
interested.
action.
Yeah, should we try that first?
Mhm.
Send, okay.
Because they definitely own the tree. We don't own the tree.
Right.
So they don't want to, then what? Like,
Well, then we'll.
That's what I was gonna say, somehow can we word a letter like, Bob, these are your trees, we'd like.
Well, if you
we're
really-
thinking about removing them, blah, blah,
If you
blah,
send me
blah.
that letter and I wanted them cut, I'd say, go ahead, cut them.
Yeah.
I don't wanna pay for it.
Right,
No.
right.
So,
Where
unless
did-
I wanted to keep the trees, I would, if I didn't put up a hassle, I'd say to the town, go ahead and cut them.
Well, we gotta word it in a way where they realize that it's a hazard.
Would, if it fell or caused an accident, would it be their responsibility that
I don't
this
know.
caused the accident?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a natural.
I mean, you're not driving the vehicle unless you push the tree over and stand.
Right.
Do we have some kind of a general,
Is there a mirror?
rule that allows us to react to emergencies, so that we say, hey, this is an emergency, so based on this, we're taking.
And those trees have been there for
Right, that's the
couple
problem.
of years.
It's not, especially the ones on the left, are to a point where they're dead.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there is an issue with a safe site distance there.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm trying to get a policy.
I mean, I would send them a letter and say, we feel it could be a hazard, could be.
Could be a hazard,
And then, see if they would take action,
it's brought to our attention that.
do anything about it, and then we can go from there, but he's right. I mean, the bottom line is and I hate to see this because they're gonna bring up law enforcement, but people go too fast.
Yes.
That's what it is. I mean, the speed limit is 30 miles an hour, and I was up there, I go up there pretty much on every road in town, drive around with my Jeep. They're going 50, 60 miles an hour on this road sometimes,
That's
So you
just a
just
tough
drive the
spot.
Jeep out front of it, just slow down, you know?
I can tell you in the winter time, my plows are already committed into the intersection before I can even see.
Right.
I have to be in the intersection before I
Yeah.
can see. So
Good.
it's tough. It's definitely.
Wagon Road.
So we'll ask Lori to send her that. It's the old Bishop Place there, and, see if you can put out your, on the Union that the towns have policies on tree removal.
What does our tree warden do, and what is their capacity of
He
whatever?
did,
is-
oh, he didn't renew.
I was just curious, the position in general,
Well,
what,
they can go around and mark hazard tree.
And then it gets someone else to cut it, well, they're not.
Then the town's kind of responsible. You mark someone being a hazardous tree, and you can take down, you know,
so they do have a little bit of, like,
yeah. They do.
So when you go cut a tree though, you've cut trees before, but you personally determine which tree is safe enough for you and what you'll take care of versus I gotta call someone in.
You know, either have to be because we're, like, doing a road project, or it's an immediate threat, like it's broken off and it's gonna fall.
Right.
Go back.
I think we have the right officer to do it, it's just, it's a devil.
Okay, any other comments from visitors? Regular minutes of June sixth. Can I have a motion to accept them as written?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, minutes of May 29th, that was the joint meeting with the school board.
Motion.
All in favor? And regarding the joint meeting, I haven't heard anything back from Erica yet. On anything, so.
I think she said to take her off.
Yep. Okay, road conditions day, what's going on with you?
The guardrail on Mill Road that was taken out in the flood last year was, repaired.
And that was the only thing holding up that, right, so we can close that, or not, is there still more stuff?
We thought that was the last thing holding it up. But, Dave and I, for the past couple of days, have talked to FEMA. We ended up getting our state emergency rep involved because FEMA decided a year later they wanted all the dimensional standards of every damage on the road. How long was it? How wide was it? How deep was it? So that we've never had to do that before. FEMA representatives, a week or two after the flooding, went out and did all of this field work and never filed their report. So now they want us to redo all of it. The worry is, then they take what we try as our best guess to recreate and compare it with the bills and say, well, your dimensions only are 20 cubic yards and you're claiming you use 40 cubic yards, so we ain't paying. So we did get the state involved, and they were wonderful. They fought with FEMA. They told me today to write a letter saying, this has never been our responsibility in the past. You can't accurately recreate that meal a year later, and you just need to waive it and move on. So that's something that we need to do, and hopefully that will work. The hours that we put in just this week alone over this nonsense is unbelievable.
Lori, don't write a fluffy letter, write a.
Oh, yeah.
So we were definitely pretty stern today about, they want measurements now on things we can't give them measurements on.
And, you know, several of our roads, it wasn't just one spot that was damaged, it damaged like many different spots on the roads, and there's no way you can tell, was it 18 feet, or 18 inches, 24 inches, 6 inches? And it
Was there-
varied throughout the damage as the water ran.
Was there any pictures that were taken prior to?
Tons of them, and they have all of the pictures.
And there was about 10 female people around this table, all with their computers, and then they went out on the road with you, and
We took the measurements that they needed then. They were all happy with it. The state aid was around before that and took measurements and estimates of everything. I mean, there is nothing being hidden here. They have all the information. They're just either trying to drag this out or trying to not pay sit on money. I don't know.
here's my thought, write the letter and see if we get a response within 2 or 3 weeks maybe, and then after that, write to our representatives. And I would go Laura Sedelia, I know she's not ours, but she's,
Well, it's hard because they wanted information on the guardrails and they wanted the material and the size. They went out and measured, the wooden ones are 3 by 5 and the metal ones are 2 by 4, whatever the numbers were. We sent them every bit of it, how long, how many, and then they write back and say, well, that doesn't make sense, they seem a little thin. Can you go remeasure them? Oh my God, like, does our road commissioner not know how to read a
Right.
tape?
That was kind of one of my
It's
comments
just
was
stupid.
you people wouldn't accept my measurements on the guardrail. Now you want me to go measure holes that don't exist anymore.
You're good.
Just
Sounds like
take the measurement and triple it.
Yeah, I don't
I
think.
was
There
there
you go.
when
Now
it was
it's
funded.
I think if they look at the work we got done for the money we spent, they will want to hire us for every job that's done.
Exactly.
Sounds like funds are drying up in their stall.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay, thank you. What else do we have, Dave, on roads?
We've been out roadside mowing
Yep.
pretty much nonstop, so. And then we're gonna continue until we're done, because the weather's been favorable, so. And then we'll probably do some ditching and culverts, and I've got a meet tomorrow with Jim Henderson, we'll look over some projects for the grant aid, the one we pay him to every year, and then we get money back.
Right.
And I
Do you have a site that we?
Jepson Road, there's a couple culverts, I think, as long as he's okay with it. They're failed culverts, so it's something we're gonna have to do regardless, so just trying to pick something that we're gonna do anyway. And our budget wouldn't allow me to do both of those anyway, so it'd be great if we got a big deal.
What else do you have, Dave?
I got a hydraulic study done for a culvert on East Road that was kind of scary. It's gonna be an expensive one. That's gonna be another, you know, it could possibly end up being concrete, could possibly be an arch, but it's gonna be expensive, so that's gonna be a structures grant project at some point, but at least we have the hydraulic study right now, so.
So FEMA money for culverts, for flood hazard mitigation.
They do have mitigation programs. So I guess good luck chasing that down, being able to do what we're doing now.
we probably have to wait until our hazard mitigation plan is been accepted with the state too.
Where on East Road, what's it called?
The first major one, if you take a left from the top of the lane. Not sure if you had.
Past Ridges?
No, it's right, you know, 1/10 of a mile of that from the lane.
First one on the right, right, first one on the right after you go left on the lane.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Haven't got anything back about the Susan Drive, but I did meet with the stream alteration guy from the state, Josh Carlisle, up there one day. He looked it over. That's one of those can of worms I don't think we want to open. That's going to be the relining of the brook. Alvin Wall's going to have to put in their whole other, it's going to come down through the woods where it used to be at one time, and they're gonna end up having us put in what we're gonna have to put in, probably above, so it's gonna be, expensive project. If we go through it someday, we'll have to, but it's not, like I said, it's not as simple as just putting a bigger pipe where that one exists. He didn't feel like that would work anyway. Because of the 90-degree turn and the depth of the brook below, we didn't feel like we could get it in there properly, and even that, it would, like I said, it wouldn't solve the problem. So, those days are long gone.
Nothing on the energy study for the garage yet?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I was gonna wait until you were done.
Okay.
I got a call just today, an email from Kelly Fishburne today saying there were 600 municipal buildings that were approved for that grant, and they have to have a contractor come and assess every single building. So they have been out straight and way far behind, but we are on their list to have a contractor come as soon as they can, but there's no, it doesn't tell us when. They want me to pull together heating, fuel, electricity, and any kind of utility information that we can to send them. And they're gonna start putting things together.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate it's such a slow process, because the garage really is in need of some repairs.
Well, they did finally assign us a contractor, JT Consulting. I don't know if you've heard of them. But they are supposed to reach out to us to schedule a site visit.
where are they from?
It doesn't say.
Is this for the, like an energy audit, basically?
Yeah.
And did I have, so it's just,
It's a municipal energy resilience program, so they come and do a site visit and determine what they can do to make you more energy efficient, and then help you find money to do it.
there is relocation funds, I'm pretty sure, for buildings that are within the floodplain. Where do you put it?
Well, there is that house that burnt in that property across the street, maybe somehow we require some of that, is what we have.
I always just worry they're, investing too much money in that building and just to have it all go downstream. It's a big threat there with
Yeah.
the way the rivers, but we don't really have another spot.
Right now, there's two issues with the garage that really should be addressed before winter. One is the doors, the bottom panels in all the garage doors are rotted. I've done some patching on them over the years. About a week ago, I had to have Dave from Broadbrook Doors come up and fix one of the cables, and there's almost nothing to, mount the, and where the cable goes, and all, well, 3 out of the 4, toast. So he's supposed to get the price to replace the bottom panels. And he's usually pretty reasonable. I've had overhead power come in the past, they definitely charge a lot more money, so. The other is the roof. The roof, I mean, you can see if you look at the stand salt sheds, are starting to rust pretty good on the front, but when Mike Sample was doing a cricket on the back for the chimney last year, he said that the rear is actually worse, so. And it does drip in there, if you get a rainy day in the winter, the snow on it, you get some dripping on it, so. A few years back, I think Rick Arnold got up there and sealed all the screws and whatnot, but it's just, I don't know if we wanna try to recoat that or replace it, but it's definitely, something that really needs to be looked at a little bit more.
Did we get it right through? I mean.
Yeah, I haven't got up there. You can't see light because there's an 1.5 inch insulation on the ceiling, so. I have no idea. Like I said, you can see some water staining on the insulation, so it's definitely, but it's a metal roof, and some of that can just be condensation over the years, but it's definitely needing
When
attention.
JT Consulting schedules us, tell them our roof is bad and we might wanna replace it, but we really don't wanna do that without them and. Yeah.
You know, I was kind of hoping that this would be a quicker process where we could put it for some grant. Doesn't seem to be.
Anything else on, roads? Well, we've got the county road reclassification. Lori's given us some stuff in our packet here. The Stamford Selectboard will hold a public site inspection meeting to view the approximately 0.3 mile of county road beginning at the intersection of Vassa, trail number 301, Sucker Pond Trail and County Road, continuing along County Road westerly to the Pownell, Vermont town line. The site inspection will be held on Thursday, August 1st at 4:45, which will begin at the Stamford Elementary School. So, and then, after that site visit, we'll do a public hearing the same day, Thursday, August 1st, 5:30 at the town office. Couple things in there. Do you think if we're meeting here at the school at 4:45, we can get up and do the site inspection and then back down here for 5:30?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 minutes up, 5 minutes back.
Are you just gonna look at it, or are you people gonna wanna walk?
Yeah,
Are we walking it?
that's
It's
all.
only 0.3 miles. isn't
Are
it?
we driving it?
I've already done it.
I would suggest anybody that's really
Yeah.
has an issue with it should probably take a look at it prior to.
Yeah. If they wanna take a walk down it, that's up to them.
Now, do we know if this 0.3 is the exact mile?
Now without driving.
It says
Yeah.
approximate, don't it?
Well, when you just continue to
It's
be a
what it is
little
on
bit
the-
It's
more.
still a foul
The state's
town line,
want a good
approximately,
The state girl we dealt with a couple of years ago, she was, well, does it go to the front door of the house?
Guess we can
Back
keep
door of
that
the
up there.
house?
Whatever we say,
Yeah.
if that's what it's gonna be. I mean, who else would the state girl that go up there and measure?
She does it all on computer.
Well, there you go.
So-
If we're wrong, she can let us
It
know.
says approximately 0.3 miles to the.
We can't
town
measure a
line.
hole, so how do we measure?
Right, you can't even measure a curve.
Well, does it begin at trail number 301? Do we know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does, okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's the end of this unit road, I should call it. It's real.
Okay.
301 goes out to Sucker Pond.
Right.
We're meeting here.
Now, so you think 4:45, do you wanna meet here, or do you wanna meet on top of County Road?
I think it's perfect the way it says it, and anybody that doesn't know where it is, shame on them, you know? It's very, very obvious. This is not a big deal, guys.
Never seen it since that.
Right, if you got, like Dave said, if you got real concern about this 0.3 miles of rock, by all means, go up there and walk it, and make a big deal out of it, go ahead.
Well, the state's gonna make a big deal of it. They wanna know, I know.
What can they do? What can they say? We measured it with our tape measure. You
Well,
go
that's-
over that with your car and my car, we're gonna get a different reading, cause you're gonna go boom, 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 and yours not
Oh, the
gonna
up
go
and
like
down?
that, mine's gonna go this way.
The road's gone.
The state's not driving through there with their.
It's a trail, it's already a trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a Jeep
for a
trail.
while.
Well, if we can clearly identify it, it's okay, but if they don't feel we've clearly identified it, they can make us survey it. That's why it matters.
I'll drive
to
up
have
with
that.
my vehicle, I'll tell you what, my old downer will be from here to there, how's that?
Okay. So we
I'll
will,
stand by my reading.
They can make it
They
state
can take it from
highway if
space
they
on
want,
out.
we get to Bennington in 10 minutes.
Right.
And then if they want us to be connected to the state, they can do that.
so once again, to answer Lori's question, are we gonna meet here at 4:45 or up there?
Well, if someone doesn't know how to get there, they probably wanna be here, so we probably will.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised if nobody knows where it is, but, you know.
This is where the High Line actually crosses, or you're down farther where Risky Ranch Road comes out?
Right at the detention line.
Okay, yeah.
Right at the detention line, that's where they wanna connect to Sucker Pond Road. So that's the 301 and 302 is the, and they wanna go down, just come down Sucker Pond, they wanna make it a connecting path.
Yeah, you're not driving there with any like normal vehicle.
No, you can take a pickup, but if you got
Yeah.
running boards, they're coming off.
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna go
But
down.
no, I mean, it's a Jeep trail,
Yeah.
and it's a slow Jeep trail. You know, you don't fly.
Yeah, you're not going
Just
fast,
rocks.
you're crawling.
Just rocks.
You can probably walk fast.
There's no use to any, yeah, unless you're on a four-wheeler.
There's no water, there's no culverts, there's no bridge, it's just rock.
It's really not maintainable as a road.
No, you couldn't, I mean, what do you do, take your grader over it?
No, it needs serious work to bring it back to vehicle standards.
Okay, so beginning at the intersection of the current Bassett Trail number 301.
Does the Bassett Trail 301 exist
Yes.
right there? I mean, should we be
There's
saying?
a sign
something
on the
like
wall.
that lines?
There's a national forest sign that says TR 301.
Yeah.
Right there?
So I don't know if it's an actual Bassett Trail 301 or national.
I think it's national forest.
Forest.
I don't think they designate it as Bassett at this point. That's what these people, they came to want.
They need to
National
connect
Forest
Right.
Trail 301.
Because national forest could tell them no for forever, which might be the
It's
case.
just dead ending.
Because they, when they were pushing the four-wheelers and ATVs a couple of years ago, you know, National Forest came right in and said, Sucker Pond Trail's not gonna be open for years. It's, I don't agree with them, they said there's a lot of,
Erosion.
erosions, but it always was there. I don't think it was there like yesterday, it was there 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Whether you drive a Jeep and pickup up there, or dirt bikes or four-wheelers, it's always been like that, it's never been a nice trail.
I mean,
It's just more of their public awareness. No?
Right.
regardless of the NASA issue with that section of road, I think it's in the best interest of the town to have it as a trail anyway.
Correct.
I would wanna do this regardless, so. Yes.
Should we say something in this notice that point of going up there is to reconsider the classification of it? Because we don't really give any reason why we're doing this.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yep.
Like you
As
said, I
part of
don't
the
see,
reclassification, we got the checklist and
I don't see anybody complaining about it. No one lives there. It's not like you're
think
going,
so.
you're not going there. everybody's-
Forest on both sides?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think,
We're not giving it up. It's still gonna be a public right of way.
correct.
right.
And it's national forest on both sides, so there's nothing gonna be developed.
Really, it just defines a level of maintenance as far as the town's concerned, what we legally have to do. And we're responsible for. It makes it so we're not responsible for any liability. Which is a good thing considering the shape of the road.
Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not already put where it's headed, you know?
And it's always been bad. I mean, in
Yeah.
my lifetime, I've never seen it.
I haven't been up there in years, I can't imagine what it looks like
When we
now.
first moved up here, it could take a Honda CRV and drive right through
Yeah.
to Bennington without a problem. And I'm talking
So that
40 years.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be 40 years. Well, you're a lot older than me, Doug.
Yeah, I know.
A
I
lot.
know I don't look it,
Well, no, you look good.
Need a lamp in now.
but I'm not gonna win.
Even up about 25, 30 years ago, the selectmen did have a look at a camp at the end of Risky Ranch, and we said, oh, let's go through.
Oh, you went all the way through?
We went all the way through, up the road, but we were thinking, how are we gonna open these doors? We can't get out. We're gonna have to crawl through windows and the banks were above the door in the
The
car.
last house stop, if you know it's the
Yep.
last house.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, we just thought it'd be fun to go through.
It is fun.
for a while the GPS would send people from like
Yes.
Albany side, you know, from my address, they'd send them over,
Yeah.
Risky Ranch.
over that, oh, no, over
County Road.
connector, town hall.
All right.
And I mean, there was
ago.
one guy in a cab that got stuck, and, you know, I called his dispatcher, because he didn't have, because, you know, I had to go and bring my Subaru as far as it would go, and then we had to hike 30 minutes, collect the people, come back to the house, and I had to call the cab company to say, your guy's stuck, and they're like, well, we haven't heard from him. I'm like, you're not out of here.
Okay.
There's no cell service.
Right.
So you better go get him, or you're gonna have a dead body tomorrow morning.
It's amazing how GPS maps out an area that was best for a wagon.
Yeah.
2 years ago,
gonna join the fire department?
steel truck, Kyle Steel, was delivering at R.A. Baker. They left there, and that's where they were sent.
Yeah.
They got down past Risky Ranch, out to Broad Brook,
Oh,
and that's as far as they got. They couldn't back up, and they couldn't go forward.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
They called, my buddies called
That's
me,
lush.
and said, hey, Kyle works up there, that's why you're not getting a delivery today. I said, well, there's nothing we can do, so call the tow truck.
Yeah.
I think I looking for the laundry man out there.
Yes.
I think I'm lost, and says this is the way to the laundry man. I said,
Yep, you lost.
yeah, they used to call here and, I said, no, don't.
Your GPS is wrong.
Yeah.
So are we all set on this?
Well, I need to provide 30 days notice, which is fine. I can get letters and information out by July 1st. We must give notice to the planning commission. We must post it in the town office. We must publish it in the Berkshire Eagle. We must send certified mail notice to all abutters and landowners, which I believe is just National Forest. We must notify the Commissioner of Forest Parks and Recreation for the state of Vermont. When we did our ancient roads stuff, we chose to give notice to Ron Block as zoning administrator, to our assessor, and to all of the local riding interest groups. We sent one to Woodford Snowbusters and Bennington Trail Cruisers. I don't know if you want to do all that.
I don't think we need to. No.
So not to the local interest groups. Assessor, I don't think it
No.
serves any purpose.
No.
And zoning administrator?
No. She'll know about it.
Just follow the ball.
So no, just the ones that we have.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Just a minute.
Okay. Anything else on roads, Dave? You good? Recycling? Anything recycling? Okay, the emergency management. We had, first Bob or Bill gave us the funding application. There's like 3 parts: funding application, self-certification, and payment request. There's 3 parts to this
Well,
one.
that's the project.
What did I say?
Emergency management.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
You skip ahead, 'cause I.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
Emergency management.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to emergency management. Sorry, do you have anything?
I have nothing for emergency management.
Okay.
Sorry to slow it down.
Moving on to DVFiber. So, I know last time you said you were gonna get a policy, and I emailed you the other day, and you quickly responded. They're probably more than we wanna do for policy. Some of them are in depth. And I haven't sent them on to the rest of the board. But as far as this, funding application, it says, I'm requesting funding for the following project: installation of conduit at home address. I would like to just change it to connection, because some people probably couldn't afford, well, the DV fiber's coming to their house, not with conduit. But then once they get the house, they've gotta run that wire way over to the other part of the cellar or wherever, and that's a charge from what I've heard.
More than 25 feet.
Okay, so should we just put something in there just for the installation of connection to DV fiber?
Assistance with connection costs or something like that.
Yeah, and then it would cover both the,
Would cover anybody. That is,
Yeah, even
That
if they go
needs it.
through there.
connection cost.
yeah. And if it's more than 400 feet on private poles or something like that, there's an additional cost for the fiber. So I think the way you narrowed it down and made it more broad is better.
Yeah, okay. And, so how are we going to allocate this money? First come, first serve?
Well, I thought we had a number of, not names, but a number of people. And if that number of people, I believe you said it was either 7 or 10.
That's people that are waiting on underground conduit.
Okay, not necessarily
That's-
qualify for it, or even want
Anything to
extra
do
money.
with qualification, we don't know that.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, there's probably 400 houses, 911 addresses in town. And I believe DVFiber is about 45% of those places that got connections. Don't quote me numbers, but these are just coming out of the back of this old head. So, yeah, it could be an underground conduit that they need assistance with. It could be, like Nancy said, it could be extending the wire. It could be just paying the first month's bill or something like that. You know, if we have an underserved person that can't really afford it, you know, maybe getting them started will help. I don't know. It's up to you guys how you wanna do it. $7,500 really isn't gonna go too far.
No.
Right, and that, I'm thinking if we, say we set a number, $500 per person, no matter what they need it for, if they qualify. I don't know how you determine who qualifies.
They have to sell.
There's a checklist.
Self-check.
Go through that self-checklist, but if they don't need $500 and they only need 100.
Well, you just go up to,
Yeah.
and then you throw it back in the hat, and then when it's gone, you decide what you wanna do, if you're gonna add money or just say that's it. I don't think it should be forever. But I don't know what number that would be, I mean, that's.
So we, you know, we're just trying to get ahead of this. We've got most of the town connected already without any assistance.
Right. I wouldn't think that $500 is a lot of money to put a conduit in or anything like that. That seems like it would be more than that, but
Yeah.
it's a help, you know.
Right.
But I mean, if you make it too small an amount, you're gonna have that money in there forever, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so,
I like what you said, up to 500.
yeah,
Just
just
say 100.
Try it.
Yeah, 400 more.
see how long it goes, and if we go a year or two and it's not like used and nobody's hooking up anymore, then we'll have to decide what else to do with it.
Okay, and how are we determining?
Well, I thought you said self-check.
There's a self-checklist, but say we have 100 people signing up for it, how do we,
We're out of money,
Yeah.
you
so
know.
it's the first,
Yeah,
put their names in
we
the
can't
hat
have it,
and
you know.
draw?
Well, maybe you should have some sort of a deadline for folks to submit the
Apply.
request.
Yeah.
The way I understand this works is the homeowner will pay the bill, or the DVFiber will pay the bill for the homeowner with the $7,500 that they'll pay whatever amount it is that you choose, $500 or whatever, for the community. The DVFiber's already got the money, right?
Right,
So, but it's gotta be, they'll pay the contractor or whoever it
How
may
many
be.
homes are there? 400?
yeah.
Say 400?
Yeah, but I think we've got.
We got 50% of them.
crossings. Yeah.
And they said about 158 customers have signed up, 4 more customers need a conduit, but I don't know 4 more customers, we don't know how many
Yeah.
started, so.
Yeah, so if you,
I think you guys are on the right track with saying up to $500, and the homeowner would need to submit requests.
So was it,
And
Sorry.
was it just the 7,500? Did they receive a matching amount? So
they
there
use
would be
that,
more?
they use the matching amount for the build.
Oh,
So they took the matching amount from, Vermont Broadband, people for the bill. But this community got fiber to the home at no cost, well,
pretty much.
no cost to the community.
Yeah,
That's a huge hit.
yeah.
And we're not strangled by, a cable company that's gonna squeeze every penny out of us. Yeah.
And this thing here was a good thing, you know, we're doing a good thing, it runs out, sorry, but
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
I get the sense that we're probably gonna be holding on to more money than we're
I
gonna
do
run
too.
out of, but
I was just trying
if
to
we
think.
did, I believe we could, I mean, if it was a hot commodity, I think we can use ARPA funds for that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would want to, but I think we could.
We could. Okay, so,
Yeah, so if there's, just, if you got 50, you just have 45% of the homes, 50% would be around 200 homes left. If everybody took $500, that's only 10,000. And not every, so
Right.
I think if we went 500,
Mhm.
we're right in the ballpark, you know, half of that. You know, if only 100 homes, which I doubt 100 homes are gonna qualify.
Right.
Self-qualify, self-qualifying,
Yeah.
that's not,
You
We're
get
not-
500 or 50 bucks.
you know, I'm not qualifying.
200 at 50 or 200 at 500?
At 500,
That's more than 10,000, isn't it?
is it?
Yeah, maybe I'm mistaken.
Also,
That's
some
what I was
houses,
thinking.
some houses there is no charge.
And that's
I
all.
don't have any charge.
Yeah,
You know, some houses don't even, mine,
there's people
close
that,
enough
Oh, yeah.
to the road, where
500
it's just
Yeah,
like,
that's 100,
just hang
20,
back.
yeah, okay.
yeah, so
Sorry.
I think you're on the right track.
Yeah.
I think at least it's something to start with.
Yeah.
And if the money doesn't go and somebody comes up that needs a lot of money, then maybe you guys can reassess and make a determination on that.
Could it also go for, say, like, training for people that don't know how to use the internet, older people? Could money go towards that?
we said connection.
It should be for connections, but if there's people that need
I mean, if
assistance.
it's left over at the end, we're
And
all
that,
connected. and
we
still have a
can come up
problem.
with assistance, you know. YouTube videos can do an awful lot.
Yeah, that's true.
There's,
If we know how to get on
Or-
there.
and if you're looking at the right one.
Right, if you can't get the internet, how you get on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So who goes?
I know
through
YouTube
the
puts at least 20
application
extra
after you
pounds
fill it
on
out?
it,
Who's
though.
gonna be the
That's,
determination
we got,
person?
are we putting it in the hat, what are we doing? Good question, John.
Yeah, so someone fills this all out, where's it go, back to Lori? Where's this go after it's
Do they
filled out?
submit it to me, to the
Goes
town?
here.
So we decide.
And then who decides, you know, and something else?
We
So we're the ones
decide, or do we
deciding,
put it in a
and
hat and pick out the people?
Did you tell DVFiber that you're gonna give this amount of money
Yeah.
to this resident for this setup?
Yeah, but how do we determine
I
if
think
the
we-
resident is going to
Yes.
qualify?
I think
Like,
we-
put it in
the
a
board should
computer.
look at it and make sure that that's what, it's right. I think we should look at
Yeah,
it.
cause somebody could falsify it easily.
You know, there's gonna be, there could be, not that I don't believe it in this town, but maybe there could be someone that says, I need it, and they clearly don't need it, or they don't live in the town, and we gotta be careful, you know, just make sure that they.
Probably like applying. for
Found
food
inaccurate,
stamps.
I understand that I may be deemed ineligible
Right.
as for any funding.
So we can't just put it in a hat, we gotta look at it, we can do it in an executive session if we want. So
Mhm,
here's
okay.
the thing, so.
Well, I'll start working on this and proceed. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Delinquent dog update. Luke called today and he said that all dog letters will be going out tomorrow. I don't know how many he's sending out, probably, what'd you have last time, 20, 30, 35?
30, 35.
Seed Savers response. You all have a copy of the Seed Savers letter response. The beds are being used by somebody, but we don't know. This is from Helen Field, she doesn't know who. So I'm not gonna clear out the beds, and maybe between the town and the school, we can figure out if the teachers are using the beds or town people are using the beds. I haven't been in Seed Savers for several years. They were dissolved several years ago. As far as the beds that aren't being used, I would highly recommend sending out an email that says anybody that wants good compost can come down and fill their truck with good compost. Otherwise, when you're tearing up the tennis court and tearing down the shed, you can just work it into the dirt. There are several blueberry bushes there that also belong to the town. All of this belongs to the town. So you have the right to do whatever you want with it. And I hope people will either start using the beds again or collect some compost, because I notice that there are now many people in new garden beds, raised beds in their yard, especially along Main Road. So maybe sending out a notice to everybody so they can come down and fill the truck, the compost would be helpful. Feel free to call me if you want to discuss it. My question is, how do we get all the towns, or both seed savers, and now it's all the towns?
Do we wanna pick a date, like this, I guess?
Well,
No,
they
they
use the town name.
Did they use, yes,
That's what it's on. Yeah. What my concern is, if someone's using it, it's not from the seed savers. Who are they? I'd like to know who's down there. Well, you know, it'd be kind of good knowing who's down there, when they're down there, and know the rules, and when the school's opening now. That's my concern. The other thing would be is, if they're all the schools, at first they're saying, well, come get the tools, and then they're all the good stuff, and then leave your other stuff behind, so what's happening? But nevertheless, it's over. What you gotta do with it? You want the dirt?
The dirt, someone might want that shed.
yeah.
I went down last week just to see what was there. I don't believe anybody's using it. A lot of the boxes now are kind of deteriorating, you know.
And the teachers are gone, so.
Right,
I don't think it would be a horrible idea to leave the shed. I mean, I think we could rip the fence down, cover over the majority of the blacktop, and leave that for, you know, picnic area, whatever. There is some grills down there. I mean, you know, if it gets some disrepair, instead of putting money into it, we'll tear it down. But right now, it's in pretty good shape.
There's a picnic table on there.
There's a couple picnic tables. I think they used to be up near the school. They got moved down.
Yeah, so why not, when you bring those back up to the school, the kids could probably use them at some
they're probably outside the fence, so aren't they?
No, they're inside.
Oh, they're inside.
Under the pavilion.
There's a little pavilion over the shed. Like it's not a bad little unit. And there's a water tank down there too, man, but it was somebody. You know, it's work.
I was suggesting leaving the blueberry bushes right where they are, somebody might,
And they got tons of blueberries on
The
it.
kids go down,
I can tell you, they were
down, people want to
They
go
were
down
for
for someone.
the kids in the town, person who bought them appreciate it to this day.
yeah, I think so too. So, what do we do with this?
There's really nothing there, is there? I mean,
Compost?
You want to go get compost out there, Karen?
So we wanna take the
Gotta bring
fence
a shovel
down
and
and
truck.
cover up the court, is that the game plan?
What's that?
The ultimate game plan is like tear the fence down, have it all grass at some point.
I'd like to see that, but I don't know how we can afford it, and
Yeah.
the fence is in pretty bad shape.
I would,
Cover it.
this is my idea, I would just get the roll off, brought down there, I'll go down the excavator, and I'll take all that fence down real fast and put it in the roll off, and then truck in some loads of topsoil and cover it over, seed it, and, you know, leave it alone.
Yep. Cover it over.
Yeah.
Okay,
Leave the little part where the pavilion is for now,
Yeah.
blacktop, because that's in decent shape.
You bust it up a little more before we go there.
The blacktop, I'll just cover it. There's a blacktop for half my field, but
I think if you take it up, you gotta get rid of it, and then
I was thinking
Where
where
you-
you
where you
rush
go
it,
to-
like leave it, like,
mhm.
just rush it, and cover it, leave it.
I don't think it hurts to leave it.
So should we put something in the minutes, if anybody wants compost or anything from this, I don't want just say compost, because we don't wanna say take anything, because they might take the shed.
Leave the compost here, we'll use the dog.
My question is, do you want people driving private?
Yeah,
No.
I wouldn't invite anybody down there.
Also, mix it with the compost.
Yes.
Yeah,
to
we'll
see-
just use it.
Right.
use
Yeah, I like
it.
Dave's
Then
idea,
we don't have to worry about anybody going, well, boy, I didn't get any
just
compost.
strip it out like
Good
a
idea.
Band-Aid.
The water tank, if it disappears, it disappears.
Yep.
You know?
Maybe you could use
I
it.
mean, I can use it, I actually need a new one for our.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the towns.
There you go, yeah.
That way there's no whining about, oh, I don't know.
Right.
What's the key to the shed?
There's no lock
Is
on
there
it.
anything in it?
There's, nothing of value realistically, there's a couple small shovels, some hoses, you know, miscellaneous planting buckets.
Still not a pump down to the river, is there?
No, that wasn't, I used the pump in my own home and fill it up, so.
When are you gonna take care of it, this year?
Yeah, I mean, let's get through some, maybe, hopefully before school starts, we'll try to do it.
Sounds good. Let it be done. Keep that bank down to 2%.
Tax anticipation loan, what do we got?
So I did reach out to Adams Community Bank and they said they can touch Berkshire Bank's rate. They couldn't even come close to it. Their rates were even higher than what they quoted us just in the time from when they did it and when I was asking. So I went with Berkshire Bank. Nancy came in and signed her life away and
How much?
$300,000. Which was put in the town account today.
All right. I own a lot though. Drop, I must own some.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll do it to make tax sale.
Oh,
We will.
okay.
Sell blueberries.
So we're good.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. Blueberry.
Okay. Correspondence, Lori.
I don't really have any correspondence for you.
Old business.
Old business, I guess I had a resident approach me at the dump, asking if we could get state police to patrol the highway more.
Okay.
Typical stuff.
Oh, the four-wheelers
No,
Have been
just
active.
talking to state highway, I'm
So I guess I wasn't gonna bring anything up, but now that you did.
yeah.
Well, I do understand that some residents see you at the dump, see you at Philmont's, call you on the phone. That happens to me too. But I wish that we could get into minutes that if the residents have concerns, to either write a letter if they're afraid to talk in public, because some people are, I understand that, or come to meetings.
Yep.
And we give 5+ minutes, and when I say plus, that's a big plus, okay? To everybody we've never, ever said people can't talk.
Right.
Matter of fact, we've had people that said they couldn't talk, and we put them on the agenda just so they had a platform in the past. So I think this meeting, although it's not run Robert's rules, it is run that the freedom of speech is very, very open. So I would like people to do that and know that this is a select board of 5 people.
Right.
So each one of us can never make a decision. We can't. You know, I know that people have their favorites and they want to call on their friends and all that, but I'd like the minutes to know that we, you know, we're doing our best. We seem to be running the town pretty good, I think. But if you have residents like that, you know, I'd like to see them here. I'd like to see, we get the same people all the time. Not that I don't like seeing you. But we do get the same people all the time. And if, you know, someone's got a concern, unless it's a dire need where they, you know.
Oh, it was more like chitter chatter that was going on.
Yeah, yeah,
Dump
you
that I
know,
walked into.
And just like you said before about law enforcement, you can call the state troopers, I'll call them tomorrow, okay? And they're gonna tell me they're down 7 men, okay? That's what they tell me all the time. We have 3 officers for 1,000,000 miles and blah, blah, blah. They're not gonna spend their time here unless it's urgent. They might once a year show up.
They're in the vicinity.
And the minute they do, they're gonna go up on your road and you're gonna say, how come I didn't see him on my road? All right? That's what the sheriff, that's the stuff we ran through with the sheriff. But I just wanted to make sure that people understand that, you know, if this meeting, and the other thing I wanna say is this setup we have here is difficult. You can't see people sitting over there,
Right.
right? So when they're raising their hand and they're raising their hand, they don't know, so they keep talking. And this person over here has got their hand up and they can't see them, so they keep talking. And it's hard, and I understand that the chair has a tough time sometimes, especially when it's busy. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is almost a volunteer job. And the other thing I wanna say, and I'm not trying to scold anybody, but I said this years ago, the select board meeting is a meeting for the select board in the public. So you guys we're not pulling fast ones on anybody. It's not for the public, it's not your meeting, it's our meeting. Just like if you went to the school board meeting or the planning board meeting, they give so much time for the public to talk. This meeting allows a lot more talk than the school board or the planning board. Not that they don't run their meetings good, I'm just saying it's definitely more, you're more able, there's more time here to voice your opinions at any time. So I just want to let you know.
Well, I'd like to make a comment on the state police. Not only the four-wheelers, but the speeders that are going from past our houses, your house too. I mean, you can hear them going, coming down the mountain, all the way down to, oh, I think I'm
And
gonna
there's a
make it.
state trooper living right at the top
I
of the
know.
mountain.
I don't know if that deep down, in all honesty, that it's a curable problem.
Well, could we call the state police and just say,
I can.
can you have some presence down here
I'll
once in
send
a
an
while?
email tomorrow.
They're,
I'll send an email tomorrow, I got a contact, I'll send them.
and I'm
you know.
sure, you know, if somebody sees the state police, they're gonna call their friends, hey, slow down, the state police are in town, but
Sure.
at
There's
least
just
they're.
no consistency there.
It's
No.
more for the people that are not resident, those are the guys, well, I mean, some of them do speed through town, but
Right.
any time I'm getting passed on a double line, it's mass plate, you know.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like I said, I've been passed on East Road, you know.
I've been passed in the village, when you're
Yeah.
coming out of the village.
Wow.
If Doug is driving slowly now, I'm not gonna go past Doug, I'm gonna wait,
Yeah, it's
No, just start using an example, but like, oh, that's friendly neighbors, not gonna blow doors off, Doug, you know.
no problem care with a town with, limited resources. It's a lifestyle.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm working on getting the hats and shirts for that. It's a lifestyle, Tom Stanton.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you
so
can
merch.
call or email them, I'd appreciate
You
it.
know, and I hate to be, giving credit with quotes, but years ago, Dave said, we all gotta live here. Every one of us. Smile once in a while, wave to your neighbor once in a while, help your neighbor out, we gotta do that. We gotta stop being like the rest of the nation where we're
Yeah.
at each other's throats.
Yeah. We don't agree on everything, but
No.
there's still a way, and I've said this for
I'm
many,
always
many,
right, you're not.
many years, that we don't, well, we see our neighbor and all that stuff, but we're not there in their face, but if they need help, we're there.
Right.
And
Okay.
what did I notice today? Something I noticed today, something wasn't right, somebody was walking. Why is that one walking? Something's not right, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But you know your routine, and I said, Yep. Okay. What else under old business? John, with something on sign?
Last meeting I brought up the sign, I wanted to try to accommodate the town of putting a sign up that met the current zoning bylaws. And I know some people feel that the town shouldn't follow the zoning bylaws, they are exempt or try to be exempt. But I feel like it's a small town, you should lead by example. And if we move forward with a sign, I feel like we should put a sign up that goes by the current zoning bylaws. So whatever we need to do, obviously we need a sign. You drive by, there's no sign, just the bushes right now are overwhelming the teepee sign that are out there. So,
What happened? Yes, Lori.
While I was on vacation last week, FEMA decided to send a representative from Burlington down to view the guardrails that need to be replaced, unbeknownst to any of us. And he drove back and forth and all around, and his GPS said he was here, but he didn't see anything, and he finally did pull into the school, and one of the teachers went out, and he was talking about FEMA, and they routed him to Ted Burchard's house on Clowney Road, thinking it was FEMA buyout. I mean, it was just a mess from every angle. He ended up going all the way back to Burlington for nothing. But he didn't schedule an appointment either. But without a sign, it was a problem.
Too much college and not enough kindergarten.
Wasn't there a plan to, you were gonna show up at the next planning board?
We haven't had one yet.
Yes, the first.
Yeah, when's the next planning board?
So I can, but John was talking something different, which I have all respect on either way. I don't, again, I'm at a point where I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I feel you there, Mike, but at the same time, we're in charge of the town and we're supposed to, you know.
No,
we need a sign.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
So either we go to the planning board and ask them to put a sign up
Yep.
that accommodates, or ask them to change the rules so we put a bigger sign
So
up. But if
if
that's
we-
the case, then it should be accommodated so everybody can put up the same size sign as we, that's just how I feel about it.
Right, and if we did, let's just go two ways. If we go to the bylaws now, the signs now, we need to go through Deb and we need to get a model of the sign that we want. Say, okay, this is what, will this be approved? Then, once it's set, they say yes, then we can go and have it designed and built.
All right, so
If
there
we want to
was,
modify an existing sign, which that's up to,
If we're gonna go with the landscape, the whole landscape will have to be moved as well.
Why?
It's too close to the road.
yeah, that was the next question. What is the distance that we're supposed to be off
It's gotta
the?
be 15 feet.
so
back.
our old sign was always too close to the road. They took the old sign down, put the new sign up farther away was my understanding, a couple feet. Then it either was farther away or at the exact same place. And I was, this is all hearsay, that we can't go any farther because there's a well there, but that well is a pretty, why can't we?
Yeah, it's just a,
Oh, no, we can't.
cast iron
It's on
casing
the
and
slope of
drill
the
it
hill.
around.
And the old sign, did they even have cement? So, I mean, I don't see
Well,
why.
whatever it is that we do, I just feel like it should be, so there's no issues down, like, once we
Right.
do it, we don't wanna have
How-
this conversation again.
Now you have no idea how far off
Unless
it was,
something
it was a foot or 10 foot. I guess if
So
it was,
let's just
if it was 20 foot, you put it that far back,
dot
it
our
would
i's,
see it.
cross our t's.
Well, we would have to check
Yeah.
the 50-foot mark to see if we're too far down the hill. Because on the sign, it's gonna have to be
Right.
Bigger lights on
Well,
the
then,
existing
we can
sign.
figure out what we wanna do, if we wanna do the 3x4 or whatever, keep it the same size, but if that's the case, can, like you brought up last meeting, we could have the sign, two signs and keep them a half inch apart.
Right, but we do
And
have
then
to
we
have a
have-
model.
Yeah, and then we have
And
a nice
just-
big sign or whatever, but.
Yeah, in order to fall within the bylaws that we have, we take and we say, okay, this is what we're doing 3x4. If you have to have two signs, then we can put two 3x4 signs up. That's up, you know.
I just can't get my point across enough, like, whatever we do, it's gotta be done right,
Right.
so it's not.
Yep. The other
an
thing
issue
is,
again.
and here's where I do disagree, is that I do believe, when I read that law from the state, that towns, municipalities, for the good of the municipality, are exempt. And now I don't wanna debate it.
You're
because-
probably correct.
Well, we've already talked about it. That's where I wanna go to the board and say, this is in the state law, this is what I'm feeling. If they say no, it's no. And then but I have no problem going either way. I agree that when we get to we go this way or this way, we get to the same place where there's a sign. That makes sense, doesn't it? Everybody in agreement with that.
Now, the other thing is too with the flowers, everybody's got flowers in the town and state right away.
Well, that's
I
not a
don't
sign,
think so
that's
much
not part of the
that
I don't
sign.
think we need.
They're just, I'm thinking they're gonna grow to the height where you're not gonna see a sign that's behind the
Well, they
flower.
probably need to cut
Yeah.
that.
Right, yeah, I mean, that's too bad.
What are they,
Move them, if
actually
they die, they die, we're gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I think they're.
Some of them are
actually
small.
cut them
Well,
down.
it's- this is about a sign, you know? Well, yeah, you know.
Yeah, so whatever it is we do, I
Die,
just,
I really don't
it's like
have
wacky
any-
you wanna get a
Dies
sign
and
put up,
dies.
there ain't no
I have no
problem.
more comments about the sign,
Yeah,
other than
just-
stuff I've already said. If we come up with
No,
some kind of
well,
solution, I'll vote on it.
I will go to that meeting still, I mean, I feel that it probably will be useless, and I probably won't get it for her. But if we have, if we go to the AO and say, look, here's our sign, this is what it's gonna say, we're gonna put 3 of them up, 2 of them up, 5 of them up, how many can we put up? Can we just keep putting a row of signs up, or, I mean, seriously, is that a loophole in the
I don't know,
bylaws?
we don't wanna set that.
You know, I mean, actually, one of the planning board members said that.
We just
Go
need to
that
have enough
close, be
information
careful.
on
There's
here.
also an
People aren't
example
driving
where
up
we're
and
setting
back.
that if we're following the bylaws, and then everyone's gonna say, oh, I have before signed that.
Follow the loophole,
Perfect,
right?
yeah.
Oh, let's just go to that
Yeah.
one, you know,
Who's gonna mock up the sign? Who's
Yeah.
gonna-
doesn't mean, I don't know what you want.
Jen,
Sure,
knock it up.
what do we want?
It's gotta
3
be-
by 4.
A 3x4 piece of plywood, and what are we gonna put on it?
Could
What,
we
are you
just
gonna
use
pick out
the
some
old-
words and
Town of
I think
Stamford
spray paint
municipalities.
for giggles and?
Town of Stamford.
Could we use the
Vermont.
old sign, we still have that, should we just cut it down a little bit, modify it?
I don't think we should touch
Wait, Bob,
either of the signs.
Sheila,
Except for-
because you have the sign.
Do you agree you could read that old sign coming up and down the road because it was perpendicular? If you take off the Vermont, it fits in with the 12 square feet.
Don't know, I haven't seen that sign in over 2 years.
I have, I saw it today.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, I read it, I measured it.
That doesn't mean anything to me,
So
I
if
didn't
you
measure
take
it.
off the Vermont,
I mean, I think that the sign, the old sign, if you wanna bring it back to the town and we can measure it, that'd be fine with me.
Here's the
I think for the
picture.
camaraderie of the town that we
Again,
spoke
I
about
can't
5
measure
minutes
it.
ago,
Yeah.
both
Can it
the
be
old signs need
repainted?
to go away.
Can it be
Right,
refreshed?
that's what I mean, I mean, if you wanna bring the old sign back in
They need to go, both.
and, yeah, I mean,
At this point, it's too
Well,
late. to
well, what
It
measure
should be,
that.
the sign is about information, so we wanna say, what is this place? Is it
Right.
a school, is it a town office, what is it? It's
Both.
all
stand
of
for
it.
town office,
So,
school,
just get that
office,
information on
library.
there.
Yeah.
School
That's what
library.
they're gonna
School,
say.
town
Town of
office,
Stamford,
library.
Vermont, like, I don't know, whatever, school. like-
986 Main Road.
That's not
Is that the number?
3 by 4.
We got that in
That's
Still-
tough.
They don't need it.
and it has to be, I agree with Sheila, that it has to be this way, not this way.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta read it both ways. If you
Yeah, it's
just
gotta
put,
be a two-sided sign.
yeah, cause I don't, and if you gotta put it farther back, it's gonna be even worse than what it was.
Wait, Bob had a question? Comment?
Could I suggest that at the very least, the town put a road sign up that says town offices? Just at one of the entrances to the thing, simple,
Kinda like the
Oh.
library sign that's out there.
just a pole with a green sign on it that says town offices, like Mill Road or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, see when you use like the
Just a
library
suggestion.
sign out there, and you can have like 3 signs, as long as they all fit within the size requirement.
Right.
Put them on one pole, you'd have to have them on both sides,
Right.
but it would be a smaller thing, that people can, you know, I mean, if people look at that library sign and they don't know what it is, well, that's their
The
problem.
thing is, it has to be of a certain size and it has to be that high intensity prismatic. Anything in the right of way that's a street sign like that has to follow like that
Right.
PCD.
Well, I think let's make it simple for now. Let's look at, see if we can come up with some kind of piece of cardboard and we can
Sketch it
draw,
out.
3 by 4
sketch it up and
piece of
say, what do you
cardboard.
think? And then we can say, get some ideas and say, well, I like this, but we could add this, take this off, whatever, but like you said, if it says Town of Stamford, big letters, it'll slow the FEMA guy down. And then you can see it and say, okay, well, this is.
Maybe we can make the main sign just that says Town of Stamford slightly smaller, so then we can
Yeah.
hang
Hang 'em underneath.
3 signs underneath.
I was on vacation the other day, I saw one that was a straight pole that had over 100 signs on it, so that was kinda cool, it looked like it, more like a totem
That's
pole.
what I said.
I mean,
They are
sign
Yeah.
or no sign, I
Australia.
don't know
Yeah.
how, I don't really
10,000
know how you missed the building, but that's just me.
Yeah, everything today is electronic, so if you're like type in Stanford School or Stanford Town Office,
Yep.
gives you the number, go, with a big green square, go, it'll take you right where you gotta,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, or, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
let's
just
just
driving through town,
make
and
it
it's
mark.
just all a bunch of
It don't have to be perfect, cause then when
single
once we
family
like it, we
dwellings and
can
they, oh,
sign
is
it.
that, oh.
Lisa?
I just wanna say, I think Mike is correct, it's the town's being exempt from the research I've been doing, knowing that you're coming, maybe coming. And also I've been researching other towns, and we may have to just put a sentence in our bylaws, we just need.
In your bylaws, yeah.
Spell it out, just to be that simple, I think, that we wasted so much time.
Maybe,
so much time.
maybe the law was put in place because of things like this, right?
I
Right.
don't know.
Well, clearly it said it's for the good of the municipality. It, like, I tried to use an example before, if you have a school that you can't put the sign anywhere else, it has to be too close. If you have a school and it's for the good of the bus drivers,
Yep.
that's what that law is for. Or if you have a safety thing, you want it bigger, that's what that sign's for, you want a big sign that says,
So the sign, I'm sure over the years was put where it was because it was the most visually aesthetically, pleasing place to put it, where everyone could see it. It wasn't like anything to
You
do with
see-
put it feet away from this.
you go
or
through
that.
towns in Vermont, you see town of Dover on the side of their building, the fire department, it's, one letter is this big. One letter wouldn't fit in our, so they're exempt. Their bylaws don't say everybody can do that.
Right.
But it can't hurt to just put in the bylaws of the municipality, it just can't hurt to,
And it
like
was
John
made-
is saying, to cover,
Yeah.
dot your
And
i's.
again, I really, I have no personal thing involved in this where I care which way it goes. At the end of the day, I agreed, and I think we all agree, we need a sign.
So put the sign up, or let's look at the sign. Because it's gonna take a while for that statement to get in the zoning bylaws and get approved, so
Right.
in the meantime,
No,
let's
it
have
might not.
something there.
We just
Then
gotta
it might
knock
not have to
knock
be.
something up with someone that can draw.
Right.
I guess.
Anybody got
I
a
have no such-
refrigerator or
no
a
such
mattress
skill.
they just bought, was
It's
just
not
two pieces
that
of
complicated,
cardboard?
but like, if you do a 3x4 piece of plywood,
Yep.
Yeah,
and then you throw two posts on the side of it, does that change the, you know what I mean?
And that's a good question for the planning board. I don't think so. I think the sign is an actual sign, and what holds it up is not part of it.
Right, so yeah, I just don't wanna get
I think
a,
that's the zoning, right? That's the zoning.
That's the
administrator's
AO.
decision.
Right, now see, when we had a store in North Adams, and the mayor came in and he changed, the mayor did, he said, I want all the signs to hang. And we had to put a pole in from the building out over the sidewalk, and then hang the sign off of it, and that pole wasn't part of our sign, it was just a measurement of the sign. 5 years after that, he changed his mind and he wanted everybody to put the signs on the building. So that had to come down, we had moved by then to another facility, but everybody had to take them off and put them a different way. And you wouldn't think it's that hard, but the insurance company sure does, because you can't hang them over the sidewalk without special insurance.
I was just, he was going after the old school nostalgic look of how.
He was,
signs used to
yeah,
hang
he
on
was.
the street.
Yeah, I mean, I put a 4x4 half-inch wall tubing, 12 foot long, out of the attic of the building, and hung it out 4 foot, 5 foot. So the rest of it was in there with jacks, threaded rod jacks. You could have jacked a truck motor out of it. We tore the building down now, it's old modern studio. Should have asked for mine.
okay, so you'll try to have something for next meeting,
yeah, just a square piece of wood, I guess.
4x8 and,
3x4,
4x8.
3x4.
3x4,
You want me to letter it, or you wanna just
Yeah,
leave
we're
it?
gonna have to do some kind
You're gonna
of
have to
small
try
letters.
to figure out how to get the,
Yeah, we're
everything
gonna have to
in
move
there.
around, it is a lot of letters, that's the thing, it's a lot, town of Stamford, that's a lot of letters.
Take the magnetic board, buy the little cable letters.
We just say Stanford,
You
we
just say
also have
Stanford.
town
Stanford.
office, school and library. That's
Right.
what
Because
Stanford
you're gonna know they're in
says.
Vermont,
Right.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'm not gonna guarantee it, but I think I have, one of my guys can do it on a computer too, and can mock it up and show. We just built a bronze plaque, and we did that, we mocked it up.
Yep.
That'd be pretty.
Oh,
We
yeah.
could kind of show it, bring it down to a small size, and that's what it would look like in a big size. I'll see if we can do that.
The easiest way is just have a bunch of them made like street signs and then put them on one post.
That's
what I
right,
would
that's
say.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're all individual, you can order them.
Or Nancy suggested putting them on buildings, big last
It won't be
meeting,
super
office,
expensive.
Yeah.
school, library.
Library.
You can have each sign within the.
Yeah, you can have town of Stamford on the first one, then you can have town office, library, school.
I like that, double-sided.
And it's, you know, it might be temporary anyways.
Yep.
It probably won't cost you $400. Just
Sheila.
thought.
The other one was just 4 boards. It had Stamford establish the date, the next board said town office, the next one library, and the next one school. And then they had the board with Vermont underneath that you don't need.
But didn't we learn that that one was also too big?
No, it would fit in without the Vermont.
Aha.
But I agree with Kurt right now, both the signs are.
It's just a sentiment, both the signs are poison at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's just a street sign, I don't know as if you have to have it like 50 feet. Just a thought. If you have the street sign.
You're exempt?
Probably could put it out where,
State's
well,
exempt?
it's just like the library one,
Oh.
it's just a road sign, right? I don't have to play games like you guys have to play games to put up the street sign.
Right.
But,
That's kind of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, but it's kind of something
even
like
if it's
this.
temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary.
Yeah.
That
because
library
they-
sign out there.
Just a thought. Nobody will have to make anything, you can just order it and it'll come in and walk and look professional and.
John, you brought it up, you run with it.
What's that?
You brought it up.
The sign?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you run with it.
whatever,
Hey, whatever.
yep.
Smack it on it.
Well, we'll look at it, yeah, let's look at a couple.
3x4, Stamford School, Town Office, and Library.
Yeah, let's see what that one says. See
Yep.
what- We'll come up with
Short and
something.
sweet and to the point.
Right.
Don't get lost.
Please, let's get,
You are-
I'd really like to see anything at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could put a chalkboard out there with an umbrella over it so it don't rain.
Okay,
Should
any other
utilize that,
business?
what is that, big electronic square thing?
Out there?
Yeah, we should utilize that.
No power in that?
No.
Yeah,
Put Stamford School on
I agree with it.
it. Yeah, they only got out there now, it's like,
Sorry,
past the wall there or something.
3412 is a.
I don't like
Tiny
the color, I
bits,
can't
tiny
see
bits
it,
or
I don't know why, but I mean,
I didn't know he was joking last week.
oh, were you? Yeah, I mean, I just didn't like it, I don't, I mean, it does have a lot of use.
It's the only way that you could have everybody under the sun get everything they want.
Right.
You weren't serious
You're
about
right.
that?
I was.
It would be nice if it was somebody that you could like, say if there was an event going on, manipulate the sign so it
Yeah.
could say what was going on. People would always try, hey, what's going on at school today? You see all the cars, but they don't know what the hell's going on.
You get a sandwich board.
Well, there's that one right,
There was
you
sandwich
know,
boards on it.
that side where you come in, there's that one there where it says, you know, back to school night, or that one's there,
Right.
for those event kind of things.
Yeah.
Is that the school's property though? Because I saw Randy put in the last.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
they take care of
You guys don't get the smoke
they
signals?
put letters up for us before. But it's, we can't keep it up in the winter, because Lori's not gonna climb over the snowbank to go.
Oh, get you some snowshoes, we can do it together.
Okay, old business done, new business.
I don't know if this is old business. I wanted to, see if you wanted to talk about having the election set up for new listers. And I also wanted to see how you wanted to handle your next meeting. You always meet on the first and third Thursdays. The first Thursday is July 4th.
I'm not coming.
So do you wanna skip the first Thursday meeting altogether and just meet once that month on the 20th? Or do you wanna have 2 meetings like July 11 and July 18 back to back?
True,
Summer recess.
the first one.
Skip,
Two.
Summer
Skip
recess,
one?
yeah.
skip.
So July
I could sit
All in
there
favor,
all
aye,
day.
aye, aye.
Aye.
So skip, yeah, the first one altogether and just meet on July
You
8th.
know,
July
they
3rd,
come
skip.
up, right?
Okay,
July 11th, or July,
4. So skip your first meeting and then just have your
Yep.
July 18th meeting.
July
once.
18th meeting, okay.
Right.
Now Lori brought up about the warning for the town meeting, I don't think Mike is gonna like this, but, cause you made the motion, but I'm not in favor of special town meetings, because you get a packed audience. And it just seems like the attendance is stacked in favor of it. You don't have people expect town meeting in March and they all come out. The special town meetings, I don't think you have a lot of people showing up. And then, as Mike has pointed out on many occasions, it's better that we appoint listers instead of elected ones. We can oversee the work that's being done. And right now, an option to the elected listers, couldn't we appoint 3 assessor lister clerks? I don't know, or
So-
some name, some title, let them get familiar with working with the software, with our district advisor, Terry, or a hired assessor for a year or 2. Because in the meantime, then we could pay for their training, see if they like it. They might not like it even after they're elected.
I don't have a problem with that. I still think I'm a little confused on this training part of it. After the last meeting, after I made the motion, then we talked about it some more, after it was already passed, and we talked about the training. And if I guess I wanna make sure that we get on the same page with the training. If we appoint, the state does not pay for the training.
Well,
They have to
will.
be trained, they have to
they'll
be
provide,
trained.
if you appoint someone, they have to come with the training already. If a person is elected, or you could appoint a couple of assessor clerks, like Sally is an assessor clerk, and then they can be trained for free through the state.
But
if
they're
they're
not a lister.
full-fledged lister,
Okay.
they just have to come with the training. You
And
can't,
I guess my question would be then is, when we say the training, what does the training entail?
I
How
have pages.
much
I have pages of all of the training that they have.
is it?
And their courses, different courses that they have to take.
Courses.
Do you feel it's months, days, years?
Well, I mean, they only offer so many
Well,
courses
that's-
every year. So you're not gonna just become a certified assessor in 1 year.
The work
I mean,
work
You have level 1, you have level 2, you have level 3, you have level 4.
But these are listers. How much does a lister need, not an assessor, right?
No. A lister is elected, an assessor is appointed. They do the same job. It's just a
We're
term.
just changing the name.
Just a change of a name. So if you appointed a couple assessor clerks, you would still need to have a real assessor. But they could be learning the ropes in the meantime. They could be beginning to go to the classes, they could be learning the software, they could be learning what the job entails.
So they can be brought on without training.
If you have like an assistant or a clerk,
Working under,
yeah.
They could work with John. I don't think
But-
he would, I don't
so-
think he would train them.
that's like,
He
Well,
should, yeah.
they
But
would have to
they're
take these
gonna-
courses.
They're gonna pick up a lot being with them.
But we don't even have a contract with him, correct?
Correct. His
Exactly.
contract is like, à la carte with NEMRA.
Right.
How much do we wanna do and pay for, or pay them to do? We have a state, district advisor, Terry. It's
Yep.
our maybe once a year,
This
If we're
is
lucky.
complicated this process so much that it's probably why nobody wants to do it.
could be. And again,
It's like
I
every-
think we heard when Sally was here a couple weeks ago, she said the state may end up taking up, doing all this reappraising and all this taxing and assessment themselves.
So I don't have a problem either way. I disagree a little bit with the town meeting. I think if we post a town meeting and you have a interest in it and you don't show up, shame on you. So I don't believe that, I believe that any meeting can be packed, the regular town meetings can be packed.
Yes, yes, yep.
But if the people are that concerned or, if they have a passion about a certain subject, they should show up. We make it very plain and we give them all kinds of notice out there. But that being said, I just wanna do the right, what's the best thing for the town. I do agree with having control, because employees, we can hire someone and they can take the money and not do anything.
Right.
Right.
But on the other hand is I was under the impression, especially with Sally telling us, that we're not getting anybody to step forward, and it was the training that was hanging it up. That's what my impression was, but it looks like the training's gonna hang up either way.
For the full-fledged lister, yeah. they
But
have-
you're saying there's kind of a way around this where we can hire them under John, because we're gonna have to, if we elect someone, they're still gonna need to train under someone.
Right,
So now you've got some elected getting paid that doesn't know their job
Correct.
until they get trained.
And it turns up by the time they're fully trained, apparently.
Right. So I
Yeah.
guess
The state takes it over.
financially it doesn't matter, but the main goal is to get rid of or do is the least amount we have to with NIMRIC because they charge a lot of money.
Right.
So financially, that's where I was going with it. I thought it was in our best interest to elect it. I don't wanna argue about the town meeting at all, that doesn't matter to me. What's the best, you know, if I made a motion and I was under the impression it was the education and we can find a loophole around it, I have no problem going that way.
I would like to see the local people
So I'm,
working on this. I mean, you know, doing the work on the computer, going out on the roads and going, oh, gee, they just put an addition on their house, we don't know that.
so,
But could somebody elected lister say, I ran for a lister, I know nothing about it, and I've been here a long time.
so we've had,
I
I think,
couldn't do that.
no, but I think we've had, the appointed lister as an appointed lister for, I'm gonna say at least 6, 7 years now, when Deb was born.
She was
That was
elected.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we changed it at least 7 years ago.
I don't know, is it that long?
FEMA, let me tell you,
Maybe,
when
yeah.
COVID came, that's 3 years nobody remembers,
Yeah.
so,
You're right.
you know,
That's 6 or
so
7, yeah.
I think it was back before,
We had Lisa a couple of years, and then we went
I mean-
Limerick for a couple of years, so.
yeah, I think it was
85?
quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And out of that, how many people have stepped forward and said, I want that job? Appoint me. I know the answer, 0.
Sally was a lister.
That's not what I said.
Before
I
that,
said, in the
before
5 years we changed that, how many people have stepped forward
Well, Ron
since
moved,
then?
and Dan Pudo died.
That's, yeah, that's in the, it's
Yeah.
way in the past, I'm talking in the last 5 years.
That's when it ended.
We voted, yeah.
What I'm talking about ending is, we went from elected to appointed, that was only about 5, 7 years ago. When Deb Darling was a elected lister. That's the last elected lister we
Right.
had, that was it, that was, like, I thought it was 7, but let's just say 5, 7 years ago. Since then, no one has stepped forward since we went to appointed, no one, 0. And so, I have no problem trying it again, I have no problem, I think Sally said we probably won't get anybody to run either. Because if they're not stepping forward being appointed, why would they step forward to run, you know? So,
I think the running is like, well, 1, 2, and 3 years we have to do. Then you run
right, but I'm just
for-
saying, we can't fill 1 seat,
Mhm.
never mind 3. So if you could try it instead of doing the meeting, I have no problem, whatever way you wanna do it. What's the best interest of the town, try it. You know, if Jed wants to do it, so there's one.
And he can run it, he's got his hand.
My suggestion is just
Maybe it's not
to,
saying no.
just
Well, I
to,
think the biggest problem with knowing what positions are open is that there's no place to go. To say, these are the positions our town has. The only way anyone knows these things is if, when the election time comes, because you have to fill out a ballot, you know that. But before that, you really don't know
Right,
unless you're paying attention.
Right.
unless you're
So
paying
there's
attention,
no,
that's
you
right.
know, I
Right.
think what we need to do to get people to come is people need to know.
So how do we advertise?
So I
It's
think it
been-
needs to go on the
Put it on our
town
sign.
It is on
Oh,
there.
that's right,
Is
we
it-
don't have a sign.
Is it set out everything we have?
I don't know.
We need things
I don't
working.
Report, yeah, it'll say so-and-so's
Lori
term
starts
ends such and
in,
such.
Lori starts in December saying, these are the vacant terms.
Right, but you
In-
might, if I don't ever look at the minutes for anything,
Right.
then I'll never know.
Yeah.
And if we had a place like, say, on our town website that said, these are the jobs that are involved in our town, and then these are the ones we look for, then people will know.
Are
what's
they on
going
the website? That's what the question was.
No.
So let's do that. That's
Would you
easy
say
enough.
it's on the front page or something?
No, I'm just saying.
That's
if
easy
there's-
enough,
if
though.
there's- If there's
Have
a
a
link
link
that
that says,
says, hey, you know, I can go here and then I can see like,
Sure.
when we're doing election stuff.
Right.
There's a page for election stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
these are what's gonna be open, these are what's open
Right.
now, you know, a vacant seat.
Yeah.
Put the word vacant right next to
And
it, right?
vacant.
And
If
that's
we
just-
have vacant seats now.
Because then people will know. And
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem, is people
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And a link that says how to see what it is that the training is and what it is, what does it mean to be a lister, you know? Because
Right.
again, if you're not coming here, I mean, Icon, it's still, it's like, it's a little mysterious, right?
Well,
Until
it's
Lori
still,
explains
to
it.
this, we talked about it a lot, I'm still not 100% on the
Yeah.
training part of it. I mean, it definitely sounded when they first come out that if, you know, if you're not trained, you can't get hired. That's the first part, I didn't know we could do it while we were hired.
And even if you get hired or even if you get appointed, you have a bunch of training, and
Right.
what is that?
There's training
Do
involved
you
all
wanna-
the time.
Do you
Yeah.
wanna commit that much? Do
Exactly,
you like it? Well, I don't know if I like that.
right.
Where being a selectman, there's no training, I mean, look, Kurt's doing it.
Yeah. Don't need insurance for this.
Oh, see, I didn't pick on you guys this time.
Lifelong training.
So, my opinion is just, let's go slow. Can we make a motion to not
That's
have
fine,
a
okay.
town meeting?
Yeah.
But it's the rest of the board.
I'm not gonna yell at you, don't get nervous.
No,
I can't believe you don't agree with that.
Be careful, oh, that's what they get.
Yeah, yeah, you should have had that with Dan with selectmen. I mean, I had. All right, I'll make a motion that we try the appointing, what is it called? Clerk assessor?
Clerk assessor,
Clerk,
clerk,
assistant
Assessor
clerk
clerk.
assessor.
assistant.
In, postpone changing it, or whatever you want to call it,
postpone the election.
for now.
Will
But-
you have terms, or will you just appoint until the person quits?
I mean, what was it before? So can we go back to the old way we did it and say there's a
Sure.
position with 3 years, 2 years, 1
Yes,
year,
yes,
and do that too?
yep,
So someone might come here and say, I just wanna try it for 1 year.
right.
And then maybe there's still vacant seats and they'll say, I'll take that 3-year one now.
So they were all
I-
3-year
I'd be-
terms that revolved.
I'd be amazed if we got 3 people show up, amazed, you know? Cause we haven't had anybody yet.
Well, how long is the training, Lori?
Depends.
So you could have like 4 years of training if you wanna go all the way, but it's not like consistent training, it's, you know, a week here, a week there.
Are a lot of these
That's it.
online?
Are they online?
A lot of them are online, some of them are in person,
And where are they, Burlington?
Well, that's another question we're gonna have to put down, so we're gonna have to say that, we're gonna have to come up with some kind of job description, so 20 hours a week, or a minimum, whatever Sally has right now, you put up, you say, okay, there's 10 hours a week at $20 an hour, or 20 hours a week at $18. I don't know, I know that was talked about way back with the numbers, the person wanted to get more. I have no problem giving out raises. I mean, that makes sense, you know, when people know what they're doing. My concern was, someone wants to go from $16 an hour to $20 an hour, and they're elected, and they don't do the job, and they don't do the training, and they say, I'm not even gonna show up, I'm gonna put my hours in.
Right.
And you have to pay them that raise, they didn't earn it.
That's what I,
That's why I
that's why I
always
agree
wanted-
with that, yes, yeah.
But, I mean, you know, I have no problem giving out raises. To me, this town in general pays way too little on for everything. And, you know, you went out there in the private sector and look at Dave's job, Larry's job, or any of these jobs. They're doing it because they care about the town.
Yep.
Simple as that. So hopefully we get a person that cares about the town and, you know, wants to do this job. But on the other hand, is, you know, don't pay them minimum wage either, you know. But we can discuss that more once we find
Yes.
see if
And
they're
that was the
interested.
built-in thing with all the last listers that Sheila mentioned, for example, was all built-in log for the town.
Sure, but that was, you know, Rob Fox was gone before I moved to town. I mean, I don't know how long ago he's been gone, but it's been
Probably
over 10 years.
Probably 15 years.
15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a long time ago.
Yep.
That you had someone that wanted to do the job, right? And it, you know, that's
It was
it's like
more
the
of a-
volunteer fire department.
It was more of a community event too, they were
Yeah.
friends and they got,
Right.
they got together, they went.
I just
around.
read an article, and this guy in the article talked about volunteer fire department. And he said, I believe that the last volunteer fireman has already been born in this country.
I believe that.
Yep.
So think about that. He's been born, and that's it. So the big pool is gonna be empty eventually. And now what do you do? Think about that for this town.
Yeah.
We just bought a $500,000 truck. Clarksburg just bought one, paid more than that. Think about this for a minute. We have no fire department, and now you gotta hire a fire department. You think it's expensive now? Wait.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on culturally where that link has just been
Yep.
disconnected. Everything's gotta be for money now,
Yeah.
all about money.
Here's the other thing, our contract with NIMRIC is up right after the BCA hearing. So we need to work on a contract with NIMRIC. It's like he said, an à la carte menu. Do we want him to do this, this, and this? Or is the assessor clerk's gonna do this, this, and this? We're gonna have our district advisor. I don't know.
So right
I
now,
don't know that.
Sally's our assessor clerk.
Yes,
If Sally isn't here tomorrow, then can you, not just say she, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What if she just says, hey, I had enough, okay?
Yep.
If Sally's not doing it anymore, and we don't have anybody knocking at the door right now, can we, after the contract's up or signed, can we add to it down the road?
I don't know.
I imagine that we could if we were in a bind.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, our district advisor doesn't come around because she doesn't need to, because we have NEMRIC. But
Mhm.
if we needed to rely on someone for assistance and helping with the software and helping, I'm sure
She would come in.
she would come in
Okay.
and help.
Oh, so our software is still part NIMRIC and still part state?
There's some
So-
Verify and there's some NEMRIC.
So we'll still need NIMRIC, but we don't need a NIMRIC assessor.
I think you will in a while. You know, I think maybe since Sally's the one who knows what's being done on a day-to-day basis, I mean, she would be the best one to say, we can handle this, this, and this,
Right.
and NEMRIC needs to do that and that and that.
Right, yes.
But again, if Sally said, because she's here, she says, okay, we can do this, this, and this, and then she's not here,
Yeah.
would this girl from the state come in and help us with that?
I think
Or-
you should.
Okay. Because I really think that kind of links together what we were just talking about. We should try real hard, advertise, get people out, get the word out that we're looking for at least one person to, you know, come in and start learning that job.
Right,
Generational succession.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
And have a job description so that people know what it is, you know, and we, on the website. This is what that means.
And
This
that's,
is what
we
that
should
means
come
right
up with
there.
some, at least a vague description of this is what you're doing, yeah?
Yeah.
Because like you said, I
Well, we
And
do
then
have a
there's
job
pages
description.
I make
Right,
a list,
yeah.
'cause I don't
mean,
know.
well, that's the thing, is one of the jobs that is paid, it's not a lot of hours, but I can't remember, she had like 10, 15 hours, I think, Deb had, right?
Well, it varies. It's heavy in the spring because you have to lodge your grand list by April 1st and then all the hearings. And it's heavy in the fall when you're going through and reviewing all the permits and the work and the building people have done. In the middle of winter, you might not come in for weeks at a time.
But we had a budget too, though, so we must have known that
But
yeah,
you're,
throughout the year, there might have been 20 hours one day, you know, one week and 0 the next or
right,
something,
so
but
you might average out at.
we should
7 to
know,
10.
kind of get an idea of what that is, so, you know, so we can tell people, look at, because if we say, oh, it's $100 an hour, we only get 1 hour.
We do have a job description for the assessor clerk, and that can be modified too, depending on what the clerks wanna do, or what the assessor wants to do. 'Cause the assessor also gave us a checklist. he was gonna do this, this, and this. Maybe we don't want
I
to
do
do all
believe
those
that if
three.
someone is interested, they should come to the board, we can talk about it too, because again, it's not gonna be a great job, it's not a job you're gonna raise 4 kids with by any means. You know, so it's like Kurt said, you're gonna want to help the town, you're gonna have to have time to come in and do the job. It's not something that, you know, the average Joe that's got a 9-to-5 job is gonna wanna take
Right.
on, or, you know. So, it is, but if people are interested, we can go from there too, but, you know, get a job description and even somewhat.
I'd be excused.
Thank you.
You gotta go, huh?
I just got the message.
Okay, so we're doing this job description.
Yeah,
Look
I
and
have
see
no
what
problem,
Hendrick's
you
gonna
know,
do.
stepping back from the town, you know, meeting at this
Clerk.
time.
And see if you can find something from Nimrick, what their à la carte stuff is, cause we're gonna
When
need
does it
that.
end?
I have it already.
Oh, okay,
You
good.
guys just need to sit down and you.
When does their contract end?
When all of the appeals are done for this grand list.
So that could be,
The BC
August.
hearings that start next Wednesday at 4 and however long they go on.
and there's only 4 right now, right? 3. So, they could be quick.
Yeah.
I mean, by August, it should be over.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just asking because we're only gonna have 1 meeting in July. So we should kind of know what we want.
yeah.
That means.
You have that stuff for us, talk to Sally and see if she can talk to us, and maybe we have to meet separately, not at a meeting, because it might take a long time. Who's doing what?
Yeah, I still would like to ask the state someday, this is nothing, doesn't matter. When we were doing that, what do you call it, the Board of Abatement, if I grieve my own home, I can't sit on any other case.
Right, yeah.
Well, this was a big change that we just had, everybody's house is doubled, my camp tripled. I kinda sat back and said, boy, I might wanna go, but then I wouldn't be able to sit on the board. Deborah Shards can't sit on the board now, if she said something, she wouldn't be able to, pretty soon we won't have anybody sitting on the board. It just doesn't make
We
sense.
probably
Can't sit on
already,
the board for your case would make sense, obviously.
Right.
right?
Not the rest.
That
of
makes
it.
that makes sense, yeah.
And when
You can't sit
What
on
if
it.
they
You're on the board, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, half the board's right here, if we all agreed, we wouldn't be able to have another, Board of Abatement meeting.
Yeah, what do
We
we
should
do?
ask the state and say, this is,
What
this
do they
needs
do
to
in that
change.
case?
crazy, yeah.
What do
Right,
they do
this
in
needs,
it? Yeah.
cause I mean, I thought there was gonna be a hell of a lot more than 3.
Yeah, I do.
You know, I thought there was gonna be 30, you know? But, I mean, I thought about it, I'm sure you guys probably thought about it, looking at it, going, geez, this is pretty high here, I might go down and ask, you know?
Yeah.
I might next year, we'll see where the taxes land, you know? But my camp was the one that really got me, because I paid the higher tax rate for
Right.
the camp. And 3 times. You wanna buy my camp? $250,000.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's for sale
Is that
for.
what it's assessed at?
218 or something like that, $218,000. And usually a realtor comes in and goes, and assesses it higher than the town does,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, holy crap.
My little camp went from 30,000 to 106.
Well, there you go, so that's 4, I come up 4.
Rural property.
Must be nice in there then.
I haven't done anything
We
to
do
it.
cherry cabinets.
The sense that land's gonna be hard to
Getting
go.
older, you know?
Right, I'm surprised they even went up with
It's
that.
the land, it's the sense that the land is disappearing.
said they
It's
did.
gonna be hard to obtain.
Alright.
Expect it to get higher.
Okay. That's it, we're done with new business. And I would like to make a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Second.
So,
Yeah. You probably need a permit for that.
You can do that, Mr. Kevin?
You guys have a good night.
Think about it.